Welcome back, everybody. Week 1 of the college football season is here, and that means episode 2 of the Spread Option podcast with BFrank and Nick Phillips is back. Bad week 0, excuse me. Bad episode 1 for us. Not starting off hot here either, but 1-3 for your boy. Down a little over 2 units. The ineptitude of Colorado State and New Mexico State's offense up until the fourth quarter for the Rams was what did me in.
Yeah, that was rough. We kind of, I think, we're riding the intangibles with Colorado State with the the coach, exiting the hospital, and we're just idiots for thinking they come out and play hard for him, right?
Yeah, it's the fact that you think, hey, you got to win it for coach, but you also forget the fact that, he was missing almost 10 of their last 13 days of practice leading up to the first game of the season.
In
Their preparation
preparation.
may not be there.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't exactly think that went over too well, but credit to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Come out a long way and get a big W. And now Colorado State's got a intrastate matchup with Colorado this week. So based on that, yeah, I'm taking Colorado all day in that one. 7.5 after after
Yeah.
that performance. So
I
there's your first pick already, like 40
yes.
seconds in. But
Yes, before we get to fill out the rest of our cards, I actually also have that one. I bought the hook though, so it's -7 Colorado. I think it drops to like 125, but it's totally worth it. You can double up, triple up the units, even if you want. Should be an easy winner for the Buffalo in that one. But before we get to the rest of the slate, we're going to go through the ranked games. We'll do it each week, give you a pick or two, however it may work, whether we like the over, under, money line, whatever there is, team totals. You'll notice we're recording this earlier in the week, so there may not be a full list of betting options, but this is just the best way it fits in our schedules because sadly we can't do this full time. But here we are with the what we've got at hand, and we'll just make some picks for you and talk through some of the games. Probably the marquee matchup of the weekend, number 6 Washington and number 9 Auburn playing a neutral site game. Auburn is 2.5-point favorites according to Bovada. This is where we get our lines. The over under 48. What do you like in this one? I've got my pick. I'm only going to take a spread, but what are you thinking for this one? I know a lot of hype for both of these teams. Big game to start off the year, and you kind of set yourself ahead in the national playoff hopes if you can get a win here.
I've got 3 words for you, B. Frank.
Mm-hmm.
War damn Eagle. All in,
Love it.
all in
Love
on
it.
Auburn this week. I think the money line's like 120, 2 or 2.5 point spread, depending on what line you look at. But I what I really think is I'm a big Stidham guy. I think Jake Stidham is
Yep.
a hell of a quarterback. I think he's poised to have a big year for Auburn. They've got a good defense. I know Washington's got a good defense, and Browning is experienced now, being a junior. The one factor, and I know it's kind of a lazy factor to look at, but we've mentioned long travel and stuff like that in the past. But I mean, I have a hard time believing that crowd's going to be anything less than 80% Auburn, because this game's in Atlanta, correct? So, um,
I believe so.
I think, I think for sure that Auburn's going to have, kind of that home away from home field advantage. I think they're going to come out motivated after they got kind of embarrassed by UCF, a game that they think they should have won, and everyone expected them to, even though UCF was kind of the darling of college football last year.
The
They,
national champs.
yeah, they're national champs, recognized national champs.
Yes. Recognized national champs.
I really like Stidham. In a game like this, I think Washington keeps it close, but with the spread so barely even a spread, I'm going to take Auburn by a field goal, playing in front of a pro Auburn crowd, and I think Stidham has a big day. I just, I don't know, just something about SEC defense. I feel like Browning It's going to be more likely to turn over the ball in this one than Stidham. That's kind of what I'm going with. I still have nightmares about betting on Washington early in the year last year against the
Yeah.
Power Five team, and I just this is going to be a fun game though, and I want to let you have your 2 cents, but you've got Gus Malzahn and Peterson, who each will pull out all the stops on offense to win a game. This is going to be a really fucking entertaining game because Chris Peterson loves to pull off the trick plays. We know Gus Malzahn loves to do it too. Sometimes it's gone horribly wrong, but sometimes it's looked great. So you're going to see some really interesting shit. And I mean, with two good defenses, it might be one of those games where your traditional nitty gritty stuff doesn't work. So maybe we get some fun trick plays in there. So prop bet, I would do a prop bet on it, some sort of trick play in this game with Malzahn and Peterson, but I don't know if one exists, but that's another, storyline, I guess.
Right. As we were saying earlier, it's earlier in the week. We're recording on a Wednesday, releasing on Thursday. So lines may change and prop bets and different types of bets may appear that we didn't have access to. And, that's life. But you hit the nail on the head with pretty much all the analysis. Two great defenses, two experienced quarterbacks going at it. Myles Gaskin is a great running back coming back for Washington. He should be able to help take some of the pressure off of Jake Browning if that offensive line can get any push. I agree with you. I'm going to go Auburn. I'm going to take Auburn -2.5. That's what I put the bet in as earlier, so that's where I'm at. I believe the line, like you said, is going down closer to a pick 'em, which
Love it. Give it to
it
me,
is
damn
what
it.
it is. But that's where I was. I wanted to make the pick early so that I could be true to the show. Um,
There you go, man.
I like Stidham a lot. My problem with Washington is Browning without a proven weapon on the outside. He had John Ross 2 years ago, threw 41 touchdowns last year. He didn't really have anyone, only threw for 20. He seems to struggle if he can't find that guy to latch onto. Gaskin will open it up a little bit, but how much? And Washington's going to have a great secondary, so Stidham's got to be at his best. Good stat for Auburn is they've had 1,000-yard rusher every year since 2009. So without Kerryon Johnson and Cameron Petway, they've got a lot of guys that are trying out to be starting running back, but expect them to get production on the ground. I'm going Auburn -2.5.
Love it. All right, we're on the same page. So will the folks fade us? Because they should fucking last
At
3 weeks.
this point, they might want to. College game day, heading to South Bend for the first time in, I believe, 6 years. Notre Dame and Michigan rivalry is renewing. This game is a pick 'em. The over-under line is 47. What are you looking at in this one? It's a night game, I believe, in Notre Dame Stadium. The it's hard to separate these two teams. There's a lot going on here,
I
a
know.
lot of question marks, especially at the quarterback
I
position.
wish, I wish this game was week 3 or something. The fact that this is a week 1 game, it's so hard to get a read on it.
It's only two of the teams every year that no one knows what to expect.
Yeah, yeah, and they're playing week 1, and they both have question marks at the quarterback position.
Mhm.
So what a trap for a gambler. Literally, just flip a coin here. There's really no way to separate them, in my opinion. Um, I really think Michigan, Notre Dame always has a great offensive line, but with Rashawn Gary on defensive line for Michigan, I expect them to have a nice day. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a tight game. I think there's going to be some turnovers. I think you've got some quarterbacks going through some growing pains. You have, I mean, Michigan's whoever gets snaps in this game. I mean, obviously it's going to be Shea Patterson, but I don't know how quick of a trigger Harbaugh would have. I doubt he would really in this game. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just going to go with the home team here. I'm just going to go Notre Dame. So obviously there's not really a spread or anything, but the thing is, Wimbush has some experience in that offense, and Notre Dame's at home, and honestly, just Harbaugh's inability to win big games is kind of in my mind too. And I know that's kind of maybe not the most thoughtful analysis, but I mean, at some point he's got to win one. You'd think with all that money he's making, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think with Wimbush having a little bit of experience is what's kind of putting them over the top for me because this is everybody who plays quarterback, probably just one guy, but it's all their first snaps with Michigan, and then the receiver, one of their top receivers, just broke his foot again. So
Right.
his
Right.
name, I don't remember his name, but I think those factors are. I'm going Notre Dame, but no matter which team wins, everybody loses. So
I agree with you that there are questions at the quarterback position. Wimbush wasn't really impressive in camp to beat out Ian Book right away for the starting job. Shea Patterson is a somewhat known commodity. He played at Ole Miss, now is at Michigan in a significantly different offense, one that's more pro style, where we talked about it on the B Fox and B Frank show in depth, where Michigan kind of puts their quarterbacks in situations where they have to make plays, and if they don't, it's magnified. Like the issue at quarterback is magnified. It's kind of like LSU, where you've got great running backs and a great defense, but when it comes down to quarterback play, you put so much pressure on them that you don't know if they can actually make the plays or not. With that all being said, I'm going Notre Dame, home team, in a pick 'em. Got to go with it. Michigan has the better defense. There's no question about it. I just think that Brandon Wimbush is going to be able to figure out a way to make a couple plays. And I never believe in a Michigan offense until they prove me wrong.
yeah, I think that was eloquently put. There you go. So we're riding together so far. So all right.
So far, we'll
So
move on to Miami and LSU, another neutral site game. Tigers 3.5-point dogs to the Hurricanes. The turnover chain is back. Over underline set at 47.5. What are you looking at in this one? Where do you go? Can LSU get a good quarterback?
I think LSU. I got LSU's defense in this one. I think they come out and play in a big way. Um, I really think LSU's defense is going to be the biggest factor here. Um, I just think with the way LSU can negate the bad quarterback play by running the ball, and they always have good running backs. So I'm expecting them to kind of keep the ball on the ground, control the clock. Them being, I think this is going to be tight, and it's going to be a defensive battle. You mean obviously we've got the renowned Hurricanes defense. LSU's got a good defense. They're going to be able to run the ball. Miami's probably going to want to run the ball too against LSU, DBU. So I just think I would take the under in this game, and I'm taking LSU plus 3.5. I think this game is going to be sloppy. I think it's going to be low scoring. I'm thinking like along the lines of like 17-13 or 20-17 kind of game. I just don't think this ain't going to be a shootout. There's going to be a lot of time spent on the ground in this one. And I just have a hard time going against an SEC defense plus 3.5 at a neutral site. Yeah. And after Wisconsin kind of exposed them with being able to run the ball very well against them. Um, you know, Last year in the bowl game, LSU being able to run the ball gives me confidence. So give me them, give me the LSU money line while we're at it, and give me the under.
Wow. Big fan of that pick. I'm also going LSU 3.5. This isn't fun when we agree so often, but it's just the way that it works sometimes. I'd also look at the under. I didn't bet it. I actually bet the under in the Notre Dame Michigan game, which is 47. I think these two games are going to be very similar, low scoring, ugly offense. This one will have better defense than Notre Dame Michigan will, because I think LSU and Miami are both top 10 or 15 defenses in the country.
Definitely.
The question is, will Joe Burrow come to play? An Ohio State transfer. He's getting a chance in Ed Orgeron's offense. And as we've seen in the
it's gonna be no.
I know, but as we've seen in the past, LSU has probably had some of the best wide receivers in college football in the last decade, and they just haven't had a quarterback to throw them the ball. If Burrow can be halfway decent and get the ball out to the playmakers, that's going to completely revolutionize this offense.
Yeah, he just has to be Zach Mettenberger. That's all he has to do.
Yeah, essentially. That is the LSU Miami game. The final of the ranked matchups is an ACC battle. Virginia Tech headed to Florida State. The Willie Taggart era is underway. DeAndre Francois just named starter following the horrific injury he suffered week 1 last year. Virginia Tech's back with Justin Fuente and Josh Jackson at quarterback.
Yeah.
Line 7.5 favorites for Florida State, which I think is ridiculous. And the over-under set at 57. Are you thinking the same way I am in this one?
I want you to go first. I've kind of kicked it off. Let's let you go, and then we'll see if I agree with you here.
I'm going Virginia Tech plus the points. I think Virginia Tech is the better team to begin with, and you're throwing on 7.5 points. Thank you. So I will take those points every day. Josh Jackson's a very good quarterback. I don't believe in Florida State's defense after watching them last year. Obviously, a lot of circumstances around that situation. It was almost a foregone conclusion that Jimbo Fisher was going to leave probably halfway through that season. They lost their starting quarterback. James Blackman couldn't really put anything together. So it's hard to judge a team on that, especially when you have a new coach coming in. But I don't think that Willie Taggart's going to be able to get it all together in time for a good Virginia Tech team. So I'm going to take Virginia Tech. I would also lean towards the over. I'm not betting it, but I would lean over if I had to pick one or the other.
Yeah, and I'm sure the over bet is part of your lack of confidence in the FSU defense. I'm going to take Virginia Tech with the points. I think they cover, but I think Florida State wins.
Okay.
Tallahassee, not the easiest place to play. That place gets rocking. They're going to be excited. You know, Francois back. New coach Taggart era begins. I just saw it. You know, you see Taggart last year with a talented quarterback in Herbert, and you know Francois coming back, and obviously Francois with the knee injury against Bama last year was unfortunate, but I think he comes out and plays well, and Jackson's obviously a good quarterback as well. But the thing is, I wonder how Francois' mobility is. I mean, we don't have the luxury of NFL with like being able in the preseason to, like, you know, if a guy comes back from a knee injury, you can like kind of see what his mobility is like in the pocket. Well, I don't know about, maybe there's some degenerate gamblers out there that somehow get some practice footage, but I haven't seen.
That's not us, thankfully.
That's not us. We're not buying, advanced weather, so we know what the weather is going to be like, stuff like that. We don't have that at our disposal, but anyway, Francois' mobility is a big thing for me, because I think if he can be kind of elusive in the pocket and they can kind of control the run game and he can be active in the run game as he has in the past before, I think Florida State's got a good chance to kind of win one of those like 27-21, 28-21, like right where the spread is. I mean, that's why my brain is like, I'm kind of locked in on Florida State taking care of business at home. I think they can sustain enough pressure on the ground to keep their defense off the field enough and, get a stop or two or something. And it's a tough place to play, and they're going to be fired up. So give me Virginia Tech plus 7.5, but give me the money line. I would take it. I mean, I'm going to, I'm saying Florida State's going to win. I don't know if I'd necessarily bet it because it's probably like
it's minus 290.
That ain't worth it.
Yeah, there's no value there.
The bet Virginia Tech money line if you have to. I mean, throw $10 on it if you want to bet on this game, because that's really where the value is in this game. But I would take. I think Florida State's going to win, but I think Virginia Tech's going to cover. I think this is what Willie Taggart does. He rebuilds programs. You seem to think he's not going to be able to get it together in time. I think he's going to be able to just squeak by him.
All right.
Yeah.
That is the ranked games. We'll just run through the rest of our card in terms of what we're looking at, what we're looking to bet. I'll open it up. Central Florida, the civil conflict, taking on UConn. 24-point favorites. 71 is the over-under point total.
What did you call it? What did you call this matchup?
This is the civil conflict. It's rivalry week.
This is a real thing.
Yes, Bob Diaco created it, RIP, and there's a trophy. It's a very one-sided rivalry in that UCF doesn't even acknowledge it. They left the trophy on the field last time they played them and beat them. I am hammering UCF. Mackenzie Milton's back. one of the most explosive quarterbacks in college football, one of the most explosive offenses. The defense is bound to take a step back this year, losing a lot of talent, but
Yeah,
UConn stinks. UConn stinks. I'm going all in on that UCF line. I would lean towards the over as well, but I'm not betting it.
yeah. Whatever UCF's individual point total is, hammer it. Um, I'm taking the spread as well. Yeah, Mackenzie Milton coming back. Yeah, this UConn is terrible. Just absolutely terrible. That's really all I have to say about UConn. I mean, I think it's going to be very lopsided, and it's one of those games where I think it's going to be lopsided, but it's also not like a 35-point spread. I think,
Where do you have to worry?
yeah. Give me my prediction will be like, oh, I'm going to go 48-14 UCF. That's my pick.
All right. I could absolutely see that happening. The next game on the slate, Stanford home against San Diego State. The Cardinal have the single best player in college football, Bryce Love. He will go up against there was a pretty good San Diego State team last season. I believe they had 10 or 11 wins.
But big loss at running back. Big loss at running back.
Donnell Pumphrey gone, Rashad Penny gone. This is running back you if you think about it.
Yeah,
going
Marshall
way
Faulk.
back.
Marshall
Faulk. Yeah, there's been a lot of talent there, and there's supposed to be another really good running back coming up this season. We'll see how that goes. I am all in on the Cardinal minus 14. Not sure what they're going to get at quarterback, but I think they win this one by a couple scores. I think San Diego State, both teams like to run the ball. It'll shorten up the game. Stanford's got the significantly better defense, so if they can force a couple turnovers, this one should easily be a 20-plus point win.
Agree on that, all that. I think I'm probably, if I'm going to bet this, I haven't bet it yet. I'm going to take the hook. I'll take Stanford 13.5 just to be safe.
I like it. I like that play.
Just running the ball a lot kind of scares me as far as how much of a lead they'll be able to build up. I think they'll kind of control the game and cruise, but I don't know if this game's going to really ever get, to be a 21 to 30 plus point game. Definitely think there's a lot of question marks with San Diego State. Stanford's always got a good D line. They always have a great O line, and then obviously they've got Bryce Love. David Shaw have these guys ready. It's a home game, so give me Stanford. I'll take them 13.5. Give me them in the first half -7. Let's just get it going. Yeah, I'm all in.
Love it.
And would love to know what his prop bet is on yards because
yes, once that's up, if it's anywhere near 100, meaning give or take 15 yards, take it.
Oh, 100?
I'm not sure what it'll be, but if it's anywhere near there, I'm saying you got to take it.
It'd be like 150. Honestly, that'd be my guess.
Wow, I'd like that too. we already mentioned the Colorado State game. I'm taking the Buffs. You're taking the Buffs. The over is 65. It opened at 61.5. It's already up to 65. So it shows the faith in that Rams defense and Colorado's offense. No need to linger on that one. This one, I think, is probably the most interesting game in the entire weekend. Florida Atlantic heads to Oklahoma.
Oh.
Kyler Murray taking on Lane Kiffin, returning a 2,000-yard rusher in Devin Singletary. They get a starting quarterback back in DeAndre Johnson. They return a decently good defense, and Oklahoma's going to have a good defense themselves for Big 12 standards, that is.
And the running back is sick.
Yes. Rodney Anderson is filthy. Line is 21 in favor of Oklahoma. The over-under opened at 65.5. It is pushed all the way up to 72. 78% of the money is on the over, 56 on Oklahoma. I am double unit playing Florida Atlantic. I'm going to play the over as well. The Owls are going to be one of the more exciting teams in college football. I actually think they can win this game. That's how crazy I am.
Oh no, man.
So I'm very much in on this 21-point spread.
Are you going to buy some points on it too, just for shits?
No need. I feel very comfortable at 21.
I don't. I think they've never played a defense anywhere near the level of Oklahoma's. And I don't I don't trust them to. I mean, I respect what they've done with that offense and what Lane's done there, but I don't think they've ever seen a defense like Oklahoma's. True road game. Kyler Murray, Rodney Anderson. That defense is. I mean, they couldn't even fight their way out of a wet paper bag. I think this is going to be a lot of points for Oklahoma in this game. Um, with a 21-point spread and the over being 72. Oh shit. I'm just trying to brainstorm what Oklahoma's individual point total is in this game because I think it's probably like 43 and a half or something. It's probably something like
It's
that.
got to be around there.
So, that's kind of steep. I think Oklahoma's going to control this game. I think Lane's going to go in there and get kind of embarrassed. Hate to say it, but because I love Lane, I think he's good for college football. I just think Oklahoma's too much. I think Lincoln Riley's going to just dice him up. Kyler Murray's not going to even play in the fourth quarter. So let's go Oklahoma first half. I'm going to take them in the first half. So
Okay.
because
That's minus 12 and a half.
oh yeah, I'm all in on that. Yeah,
And the over-under is 37.
yeah, it'll be like 21-7 or 24-7 at Oklahoma at halftime or something. I mean, I really think they're going to come out and dictate the play, and I don't think they're going to surrender much on defense the whole game. And I think Murray and Anderson are going to be a lethal combo all season, and they get it rolling against a really weak defense to start the week. So I'm all in on Lincoln Riley's genius play calling.
All right, owl up. Let's see. Let's see what happens here.
Boomer.
Texas heads to Maryland to close out the home and home. People forget Maryland beat Texas last year in Texas to open the season. The Longhorns are 13.5-point favorites with all the shit going down with DJ Durkin, the head coach. Texas is simply just more talented. I love this spread. I think they can easily win by at least 2 scores, and I think they'll do that. I also am leaning the over. It's 53. I just don't think Maryland's very good. And Texas, I think, actually has some talent. They're going to be a very good defensive team this season, which is weird for Big 12 teams like we were just mentioning. But confidence in Sam Ehlinger to be able to dictate play and lead this offense. He showed sparks of brilliance before. I think
that USC game last year, he was great.
Yeah, I think he shows more consistency this year.
Yeah, I'm all in on him for sure. I think he's going to be good. And Tom Herman I don't think he's going to let that team lose to Maryland back-to-back years. I mean, they're just simply more talented. As a Big Ten guy, I've seen Maryland the past couple years. They absolutely stink. And Matt Canada, interim coach, stepping in at the very last minute. There's a lot of turmoil. My brain is saying, like, the intangibles of, well, we got to come out and play for each other and our fallen teammate. And I hate to go to a dark place like that, but,
we are 0-1 this season betting that way.
Right. We already, lost money, betting on the intangibles. But yeah, I mean, you're just betting on the more talented team that doesn't have the turmoil. I know people have tried to loop Tom Herman into some drama with his former ties to Ohio State and, acting like him going to a strip club really matters. Actually, that makes me like the guy more. So for what it's worth. So
fair enough.
Respect to Tom Herman for being a real guy's guy. So, I'm going to take Texas. Big fan of Ellinger. A lot of these, kids are moving in their sophomore and junior years that are extremely talented. So give me them at, 13 and a half? I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. And give me the first half too. They come out and punch them in the mouth.
Love it. Louisville is taking on Alabama, another neutral site game. This is Saturday night. The Tide have named co-starting quarterbacks with Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts. 24.5-point favorites. Kind of feels like a trap line, but I'm going to take the Tide. I think for whichever quarterback doesn't perform well, the other will perform infinitely better, and that's where the offense will go. And up until, the third or fourth quarter, whenever Saban decides to pull his guys, they'll have a comfortable lead.
I don't know if Petrino and Saban have any sort of a history together. Um, they might have coached in the NFL at the same time, but obviously one was in the AFC and one was in the NFC. So I don't know if their coaching trees have ever shared a branch, if that's the right way to put it. I don't know
I'd
if
have
that
to guess yes, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Petrino is known for obviously being able to put together a very fast, very high profile, lot of scoring, just a very prolific offense. And Saban's bread and butter is that defense and
Hmm.
running the ball. I mean, it's just being a dead horse with this, this theme today. But I mean, Alabama, it starts with the O line and the run game. I mean, it always has, it always will. They're just going to run the ball to death, and they play obviously stellar defense. They have the best defense in the country. I think Nick Saban, what I was getting at is I think Nick Saban is going to make it his goal to just embarrass that Petrino offense. I just have this feeling that he just wants to embarrass them. Whatever Louisville's point total is, I'm taking the under. I don't know what it is, but
I like that pick.
I don't think Louisville hits double digits in this game. I don't think they hit double digits in this game. I think, and just for a fun bet, I think Tua comes out and he plays better. I think
Okay.
Tua's definitely, in my opinion, I trust him more in the passing game, and I
I'm
think
sure
he
there'll
just
be something like total yards, like who will have more, and it's pick one or the other.
I mean, just it's not something you can bet on any site, but I truly think Tua is going to come out and play a better game. I just think he's much better throwing the ball, and I think he's plenty athletic to run some read option or
Hmm.
he draws and stuff. I mean, they love that fucking QB draw at Bama. So
They do.
yeah, so give me Bama and 20. What's the over under on this game?
It is 53 and a half.
Oh, Jesus. Man, I would lean toward the under. 'Cause
Love it.
I think Bama comes out and plays well, but I just don't think Louisville's going to score. I yeah, I think my bet here is bet the Louisville under. I'm just all in on Saban's defense against Petrino. I don't know what it is, but I just really, really think they're going to come out and just not let them do anything. And also, what helps my case is the amount of times Alabama's going to run the ball, and
Yeah.
Louisville is going to throw on them, or they're going to.
Hmm.
If they do, it's going to be a huge mistake. But we'll see. So that's my pick. And I'll take Bama on the spread,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean that's a big spread. But the
Hmm.
fact that Louisville, I don't think is going to score much, makes me comfortable that Bama can hit 30 or something.
Right. This is the last one I have on my card. Navy and Hawaii. We saw Hawaii blow out essentially and then let back in and then close the door on Colorado State. Cole McDonald was outstanding in that game. Threw for what felt like a million yards, ran for 3 touchdowns. Just really dominated the game there for the Rainbow Warriors. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and 96 yards. He was 26 of 37 for 418 yards and 3 touchdowns. Pretty good. Navy overs were quietly the bet of the year last year. Navy hit, I believe, 9 or 10 overs last season, and they've got a very nice 62 line mark for this game, and I am hammering that one as well. Malcolm Perry is back at quarterback. He was dominant in replacement of Zach Abey for the midshipman, rushing for 250 yards in the Snow Bowl against Army last season, and I think he's only going to get better this year.
What's the over again?
62.
Yeah, that's my pick.
It's easy.
Navy
This is
over until it doesn't happen again. Long story.
yes.
It's just your research on
Very USF over of 2 years ago.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely with Flowers. Oh yeah. That was big
Yes.
time stuff. But you obviously know a little bit more about this than I do, but yeah, Navy has a very prolific offense and they're very susceptible on defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy that all these overs are able to hit with because they literally just I feel like they just run the ball a ton, but
That's it. Triple option.
Yeah, but they move down the field quickly. It's amazing how
Yep.
efficient they are. So yeah, I'm gonna take the folks at home can tell Brian is much more in the loop on this one. So mine's just more of a I'm just going with like history is going to repeat itself. It's really the only rationale I have on this one. So this isn't one I've really studied up on a whole lot, but that's what I'm gonna go with.
Whatever works. We will that's my card, but I'm gonna throw it over to your alma mater, the Illinois game, hosting
Yeah.
Kent State, 16.5 point favorites over under at 56. How much I guess I would assume you'd never bet against the Illini, but how much
Oh, I do.
are you throwing on here?
I've made money betting against my own school in both sports. Don't get me wrong, because honestly, they've had a futile. So just so the folks at home know, for my 4 years of undergrad in Champaign-Urbana, I was the recipient of zero NCAA tournament appearances and zero bowl wins. They made the bowl game my freshman year and lost, I believe. And then they didn't make a bowl game the next 3 years. I got to see the likes of Tim Beckman and Bill Cubitt coach my team after
Wow.
they fired Ron Zook, who was
Yeah.
an elite recruiter last year, started 6-0, lost his next 6 games. Was a rough way to go for the Zucker, but now he's with my Packers. But anyway, Illinois this year has a very, very intriguing quarterback that a lot of people probably don't know. His name is AJ Bush. He actually was most recently with Nebraska. Um, didn't have any playing time there. And he transfers to Illinois, and he's kind of bounced around with a few schools. He's definitely more of a mobile quarterback, left-handed thrower,
Yep.
but Rod Smith is quite the offensive coordinator, and I actually dropped him last week because he is Khalil Tate's former offensive coordinator. Rod Smith's had stops at Michigan, Indiana. It's just very up tempo, a lot of quick hitters. Definitely features the run game. Doesn't really feature the tight ends a lot, but Kent State is not very good. This game is in
Correct.
Champaign. There's some optimism. I think the over under for the season for Illinois is 3.5. But with the quality of the opponent in this one and the type of offense that's being run, I think Rod Smith is going to be able to get a lot out of AJ Bush because it's a lot of quick hitters. They're going to get their athletes involved. Illinois actually has a couple good receivers in Ricky Smalling and Mikey Dudek, as well as a nice couple running backs there that includes Mike Epstein and Louis Dorsey is a good tight end. So we don't all know who's playing yet, but based on what I know, all those guys are in. So I will. This goes against everything I stand for because I know better. I know better than to do this because they were the favorite last year against Ball State in one of these MAC games. Because a couple years ago, they lost at home to PJ Fleck with Western Michigan.
Yep.
They had way too close of a call with Ball State last year. It came down to like a field goal attempt at the end of the game. Should have lost that game. But I think getting rid of that shithead Garrick McGee and having a nice offensive coordinator in Rod Smith, the Illinois is going to put up some points. 56 is a high number. I'm optimistic about the offense. I would probably take the under in that game.
Hmm.
But I think Illinois can win this game by 17 or more. And I know I'm just going to look like a fool, but I have to show some confidence in the new offense, or I'm not really a fan. And
I love it. I love it. You gotta love the alma mater. And if it makes you feel any better, I only saw one NCAA tournament appearance and zero bowl wins in my 4 years of college.
well, yes, because you didn't have a fucking team in football.
Any other games that you're looking at for this weekend?
Oh, what was the game that I had mentioned earlier? Oh, same idea. MAC team at a Big Ten school, new offensive mind looking to make a stamp, leave his imprint. First game, come out guns a blazing. Give me the Nebraska Cornhuskers point total, whatever it is, at home against Akron. That is going to be a lopsided affair. I think Scott Frost comes out. They've got a freshman in Martinez starting at quarterback who they're raving about, but really, really like obviously Scott Frost's offense. It was prolific at Oregon. It was absolutely disgusting with Mackenzie Milton last year at UCF. So if they're high on a quarterback, that's all I need to know. I'm all in on Nebraska and facing a bad quality opponent. That's a really tough place to play out there at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. So that place is going to be redded out, and they're going to be rocking. And Scott Frost is going to come out, and he's going to want people to feel good about the hire and, feel good that, make them feel like, Nebraska football is back or it's, on its way to being back. So, give me their point total. I'll probably take their spread too. I don't know what it is, but, at least first half. I'm really a big believer in new coaches coming out and trying to leave an impression early in the game. So, any thoughts on Nebraska or?
It's tough. It's one of those things like we were talking about earlier. You really don't know what you're going to get just yet. I think the way Scott Frost coaches is he gets guys to buy in right away, and then it's all effort from there. They believe they're going to win games. They believe they're the better team, so they're going to just out effort everybody on the field. I need to see it before I can bet it, but I think it's going to be an interesting year for Nebraska football for sure.
Okay. There's one game I wanted to ask you about that you didn't mention yet.
Which one?
Do you have any thoughts about um, your potential Heisman winner playing against Rocky Top?
Yeah, so I was just looking at that one. It's a 10-point spread over under 61. I would lean, I would take West Virginia minus 10, and I would lean towards the over. Money right now is pretty even. I believe 59% West Virginia, 52% on the under.
It's a neutral site, right? Neutral site.
I'm not 100% sure of that either.
I think it might be.
Yes, it is. Excuse me. I think Will Grier comes out and dominates. I don't know that I can say the same for West Virginia's defense. That's the only issue I have.
Sounds like an over bet to me.
Yeah, so I'm leaning towards the over, and I'll probably end up taking West Virginia minus the points come Friday or Saturday morning, whenever I decide to do it. Once I get all my winnings from the Thursday games with UCF and Stanford. But what I wanted to ask is, which of these games are you going to lock in as your no doubt winner of the week?
Oh man, no doubt winner. The over in the Washington State Wyoming game, 45.
Wow. Love it.
Yeah, that's it. That's happening. Mike Leach and that Wyoming offense we saw last week. Oh yeah. Give it. I mean, come on. That's happening.
So I'm going to go bold. I already told you it was a double unit play, but I'm going to say Florida Atlantic plus 21 is my lock of the week. Take it to the bank, folks.
Yeah, there's a couple more games I really like. I also think UNLV gets slaughtered at USC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking USC in the first half. UNLV, obviously, with their infamous loss at home last year to Howard at 252 to 1.
16 and a half point spread in the first half.
Oh, it's 16 and a half in the first half?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll still take it. UNLV is awful. True road game at USC. And then another game that's a couple random games. Penn State minus 23 and a half at home against Appalachian State.
Yep.
McSorley's going to come out and ball. So I really like whatever Penn State's total is in that game. I mean, sorry, I know I just keep saying that whatever it is, but I mean these are games where I'm talking like I think they're going to hit 40 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I McSorley's going to ball in that game in my opinion.
I think betting it blind is ballsier than anyone else being able to see it and say, yeah, I'm going to take this one.
Yeah, I mean it's over under of 54. It's gone down from 57 according to the Sports Action app. Penn State's 23 and a half point favorite. So my guess there is their total is somewhere around 31 or 32. I mean, fuck yeah. At home at Happy Valley with McSorley? Fuck yeah, I'm hitting that. Are you
Line
kidding
it up.
me?
Line it up.
And then the other game is if you can't tell, I'm a big fan of betting Big Ten teams at home against MAC schools. Just no disrespect to the MAC, but I've just seen these really shitty games before. These teams going into Ohio State getting throttled, and um, Kinnick Stadium is just a black hole for offenses. I don't know what it is. Teams just cannot go there and play offense. Northern Illinois does not have a very good offense.
They do have
And
one of the best defensive pass rushers in college football, though, with Sutton Smith. He's going to be an All-American. Mark my words.
Yeah, very possible. But I think Iowa's got a pretty damn good defensive end of their own in AJ Epinesa. He was a former five-star recruit moving into
Hmm.
his sophomore year. Iowa with some losses last year, most notably Josh Jackson in that secondary. But um, I think that their defense is still good. It's a black hole for offenses to go in there, and I think Iowa just has enough to. I think they can win that game by 10 points against NIU. Um, and NIU obviously did upset Nebraska last year. Luckily, I did not have any action on that game, so I am
That's a good one.
cognizant that MAC teams can go into Big Ten schools and win. Obviously, Western Michigan throttled Illinois the one year.
Central
Um,
Michigan should have beat Oklahoma
or
State.
not Central. Yes, sorry. Yes, that too. But I meant to say Western Michigan a few years ago. But yes,
Hmm.
Central Michigan. I don't know. NIU's offense just doesn't impress me, and Iowa plays great defense at home, and I think that's just a bad combination for NIU. But uh, my high school prom was at NIU. No disrespect to those boys, but I think Iowa's got this one.
All right. Any others on your card?
Oh, let me do one last scan. I know some. This is some bad radio. Um,
No, you got to get we got to give all the winners out. I mean, if we're not doing that early, what are the people listening for anyways?
do you have any Rutgers slander you'd like to throw out this
They
week?
stink. They stink. They just won the Fulmer Cup. Congratulations to them. It is Twitter and Reddit's favorite thing where they keep track of criminal activity during the offseason, and Rutgers ran away with it this year. So shout out to them.
Really? Yeah, they're at home against Texas State. Brian's a Seton Hall guy, so obviously that he doesn't really have a dog in the fight for um his alma mater in college football. But
Sadly. Actually, I'm not sad about it because we'd probably be like D2 or D3, and who cares?
I have an interesting one for you that I think, based on our discussion last week.
Yep.
Arizona at home against BYU, 11.5 point favorite, over of 60.5.
I'd take the over and wouldn't touch anything else. Khalil Tate's going to play well. I just don't know what to expect out of BYU's offense. Their defense is always okay. It's never anything special, or at least hasn't been in the last decade or so. The offense is usually what propels them every time. Khalil Tate's going to be great. He'll be able to put up at least 3 or 4 touchdowns. So I would look at the over, but nothing else.
Hmm. Man, there's even a line on Liberty this week in Old Dominion. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, newly Division 1A team, Liberty.
Well, now I have to bet it because now that it's their first year. Now I have to bet this game
First game ever as a Division 1 school.
against Old Dominion. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of looking here. I mean, I think we did a good. I think the UNC Cal game's interesting, but I don't really have an opinion there.
A lot of suspensions for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, and they're on the road, so I'd
Yep.
probably. Oh, ooh, Kentucky puts up points, and the line on that game is 49, or for the over under. I think Kentucky could be their point total could be a very, very interesting play in that game. I mean, it's going to be north of 30, but it could be an
Mm-hmm.
interesting play. I'm just kind of throwing shit at the wall right now. I think we kind of got through our. I think I'm through my card, and I'm kind of just doing one last scan and seeing if anything jumps to mind. Just some of the team. I mean, there's some big spreads this week with Ohio State and Wisconsin. I mean, I'm not going to touch those lines.
Right.
Um, just too big for. I mentioned this last week. Once it gets over about 24, I start going like, yeah, time to find something
Right.
else to bet on or throw it in a teaser or something. Get it down a few. Just you gotta do something. So, Brian, I think I've kind of I'm through everything unless you got anything else. But yeah, I think we did a we kind of went through quite a bit.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's the week one picks. Be sure to check it out. Subscribe to this show. Leave a review so we know what you guys think and what you want to hear. We'll have our sports action app names so that you can follow us along in the description of this. So be sure to check that out. But
Cool.
until next week, we'll see you guys and good luck betting.
All right, ILL baby.